All right, in this video, we're gonna go over aiming of your stadium lights. There's gonna be a couple documents. You're gonna receive your lighting layout packet, and that's gonna have several documents in it. Today, we're really gonna only cover two main pages that are gonna be necessary when aiming your respective field, okay? So in your layout, you're gonna get a picture of your layout, all your poles, all of your different areas, and that will be noted on your ball field layout, which will tell you pole 1, pole 2, pole 3. And this layout will give you a good idea of the direction your light's going to be aiming. But again, very specifically, we give you a very specific degree of angle for both your vertical aiming, so how far down the light is going, as well as your horizontal aiming. What direction or what rotation should that light be? So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a mock-up here on the desk. And this mock-up is going to go over aiming a general light, how to read the document, and what we read on the document, how to apply that into real life. So what this mock-up is going to do, this bar here is going to represent our crossarm, okay? To make sure we're visualizing this properly, out here in this area, this is going to be your field, okay? So this way is the field, the baseball field, the football field, all of those pieces are going to be out here. So that means everything out here, this is behind the pole, okay? This is the front of the pole, behind the pole, this is the crossarm. And you will note on your documents, it will go over your crossarm angle, crossarm location, all of those types of pieces. We have figured out the angle for you and all of that stuff, okay? So all you need to do is follow the numbers, the horizontal and the vertical rotations that we've given you on the document and match them with your crossarm, okay? Forgive the mock-up piece here, but I wanted to show you something that helps us kind of see a mock-up light. So how this works is this is going to be our light, and wherever this points, this is going to be our light itself. You guys see that? Okay. Our first number, okay, we're going to first do our horizontal rotation. So horizontal is going to be pointing in the direction of our respective field. On this, remember, here is the field, and here is behind the pole. How the setup works and how when you read the document, how that works is every single one of these horizontal rotation numbers, they reference rotating counterclockwise, okay? So always, always, always rotate counterclockwise according to those respective numbers. So because of that, because again, this is the field right here, our 0 point is always going to be this side of the crossarm. If I'm facing the field, it's going to be the right-hand side. If the field's behind me, like in this situation, it's going to be the left-hand side of this cross member. But you see that it's always this end. This end here is the 0 point if I'm facing the field right-hand side, okay? So in this example, I'm in the field, so therefore it's on my left is my 0 point. So I currently have my light pointing at 0, okay? We're going to read our first number. Our first number says our rotation needs to be 53.8 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to take our protractor, just a manual protractor, very straightforward, very easy. And I'm going to show you two different options here. I'm going to show you a digital as well as a manual. Manual is going to be especially important to be used if you've mounted your lights already. They're already mounted. They're already up in the air. You cannot use one of these options for your horizontal rotation. Because I'm rotating on the horizontal plane, this uses gravity. Gravity works on the vertical plane, not the horizontal plane, okay? So if you've mounted your lights already, then that's where you're going to need to use the manual protractor. If the lights are on your pole on the ground, then yes, I'll show you how we can use this one as well, okay? So we're going to assume that our light's already mounted on the crossarm, on the pole, and we need to rotate it on the horizontal plane. So how we're going to do that, what I said was 53.8. We're going to take our device here and we're going to adjust it. We're going to adjust it up to 53. We're just going to read the numbers here. 53.8, which is just about 54 degrees. And so you can see right there, if I can zoom in well enough, 54. And I'm looking at the bottom numbers. These top numbers, it goes 180 degrees. So look at the bottom numbers on this example here. Okay, so 54. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our protractor and we're going to set it on our 0 plane. Remember, 0 is that direction. So I'm going to line this up with my 0 plane. This whole wall right here is 0. Okay. What is important here that I want to be lining my device up with is this wall here that at 0 is even with this wall here. So whatever wall of your bracket, when you have your light facing 0, is exactly parallel with that side of your crossarm bracket. That is the wall you're going to use to line up with your device. Okay, so in this example, it's this wall right here. This wall right here of my light, my mock-up light, is what I'm going to use to line up to 0. I'm sorry, to my protractor. Okay, so I've set this to my 53.8, 54 degrees. I'm going to take that wall and I'm going to adjust it and I'm going to line it up with the wall of my protractor. So you can see right there. So now my light is pointing that direction on the fixture. If we look at our pole number 1, this is a little bit difficult to see, but it's this black line. I apologize. It's this black line right here. So as I come and I line up this picture with that piece, you can see that that black line is pointing the direction we're looking for from our light. I'll show you one more example, okay? We're going to look at our next one, 94.5. Come back to our protractor. We're going to adjust up to 94.5 right there. Same thing. We're going to set it on our 0 point. So we're going to zero it out with our cross arm. We're then going to take our 0 wall. Remember, at 90 degrees, that's the wall that's 0 on our piece. Different brackets, different setups. You just want to make sure that when I'm pointing my light at that 0 piece, there will be a flat surface that is lining up with the edge of your cross arm. That's the flat surface we're going to use. So I'm going to come and I'm going to adjust, rotate. And once I've rotated in to that angle, that right there is my 94. Let's do the last number, 126. Last number of 126. So this one gets a little bit farther, right? Same concept here, okay? So now you can see my angle is quite sharp. It's quite sharp right there as it comes across, but we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to pivot until this lines up with that arm right there. So both those pieces are lined up. Slide that away, and now there's my 126 angle. Remember, when we started, we were at 53. Remember that 53 angle was going this way. 53, then our 94.5, 95, and then our 126. So those are our 3 angles for this respective cross arm. So that's how we use the manual device to do that. Now, let's imagine that I was actually laying up like this, okay? Laying up on end. Again, I'm mounting here, so my light is still going to mount here in this fashion. If I'm doing it this way, this is where our digital level comes in handy. I can come and I can put the digital level on top right there. I can turn it on and we'll zero it out. And I'll show you this here in just a sec. So now my digital level is zeroed out, right? Zeroed out right there, okay? So we're zeroed out, and then I'm imagining that we're going to mount this piece right here. So we're going to come and we're going to rotate to 53.8. So we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to come, take my light, I'm going to take my fixture or my ruler, and I'm going to mount it to my fixture. And then as I rotate that fixture, 53.8 degrees, 53.8 right there, there's my angle. And as you can see, that angle is very similar to the angle we previously just had for our piece. 94.5, same thing. Bring it up. And I know it's flickering on the screen. I'm reading 94.5, and you can see very similar angle. 126.2. Keep going. 126. Right there, 126. And you can see very similar angle on that one as well. Okay. Again, this is if I'm on the ground and my cross arm was vertical like this. This is mounted up in the air. This is horizontal. This one's the vertical. That's how we use our digital ruler to kind of do our horizontal level, okay? Our last piece, we're going to do our vertical level, okay? So the other number that we need to do is how far down to the ground is my light going to be pointing. To do that one, we're going to use our digital level, because this one, once I'm up in the air, makes it so easy, because again, gravity's pulling down on my level, to actually adjust it this way for my respective angle, okay? So first piece is we have to zero our number out. I did a little mock-up drawing right here. You can see that on our lights, pointing straight down to the ground is 0, and pointing exactly out is 90 degrees, okay? So exactly out 90, straight down is 0. So doing this, our first number is 71 degrees. So remember, I have to zero my level first, zero it to the 0 mark. So pointing straight down, okay? So once we do that, I press my 0 button, zero it out, Okay, so now that's zeroed. We're then going to take our mock-up light, right? Remember that light pointing out here. This is 90 degrees. Don't forget, that's 90 degrees. Straight down is 0 degrees. We need to set it to 71 degrees, okay? So we're going to come along, and right now my device reads 89, 88. So as I come up and I adjust that down, that's when I get down to my 71 degrees. So 71 degrees, I then lock it in, and everything's good to go. So the most important piece is zero it out. Zero out your piece to your 0 mark. And then once I've done that, I mount my level on my flat surface that's exactly in line with the beam angle of the light. Once I've done that, I adjust my pin, tighten the screws once I get my proper angle, and now you're set and now you're done. That will go over your horizontal as well as your vertical angles of each one of your stadium lights you're mounting.